Hey guys, I am Dr. Anthony Gustin.
And I'm Chris Irvin.
So everyone knows about fasting and how good it can be for you, but there's a new type of fasting in the block called dry fasting.
Yeah, dry fasting. Done a little bit of experimenting with it myself. Can't say that I'm the biggest fan of it yet, but definitely worth talking about.
Yeah, so dry fasting is essentially fasting, but most people have water, bone broth, things like that on a fast. Dry fast is literally abstaining from all water contact. So drinking it, of course, no water consumption, but also no brushing your teeth, no showers, no washing your hands, nothing. And so the theory there is that even contact with water, you can absorb it through your skin. And so that's why we're restricting it.
Yeah, and you know, the reason why we're trying to restrict water is kind of the primary goal that people are typically going for with fasting is this anti-aging component, and they're trying to, you know, induce this thing called autophagy, which is just trying to kill off precancerous cells in your body. And you know, the thought with this dry fasting is that because you're taking away water and you're going to be increasing this demand for the body to kind of deal with this stressor, that it can maybe kind of further stimulate this autophagy.
Yeah, and so your body needs water to carry on very basic functions. And so if you take it away completely, you'll start going, oh shit, what do we do here? Let's break down these cells so we can make water from these cells and use it to do basic human functions. Now, this is just an extreme, very extreme version of fasting that, I mean, again, I don't know how long you've gone for. I did about 36 hours, I'd say 48 hours, roughly, somewhere in between there. It was brutal. And I'm a pretty hardy faster. I've done 7-day fast before. This was just miserable.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the important thing to point out. I didn't have a great experience with it either. It doesn't really seem like a sustainable practice, but you know, the question is whether or not that it works. And the problem is that, you know, while there might be a mechanism in the research to suggest that there's this could provide benefit, it hasn't really been something that's been demonstrated in human populations. That it's not really something that we can easily track. So the kind of lack of sustainability of following this kind of makes me question whether or not it's a good idea.
Yeah, and truthfully, I'm worried about people doing this and not having electrolytes, not having fluids, and trying to push through it because they hear, oh yeah, it's dry fasting, it's gonna be miserable. So they try to do this, but actually make it a very unhealthy thing. So when I fast, for sure, I consume a lot of water and a lot of electrolytes. So that's what makes it easy for me to go 7 days in a fast, no problem. Dry fasting, like without having any of that stuff, it's miserable, even if you're in ketosis beforehand. So if we can't really test to make sure that it is a third, you know, you have to do a third amount of dry fasting to equal the same amount of regular water fast. That's what some people claim anyways. We just have no idea. And it's completely miserable and could be completely unhealthy and like really, really messing people up.
Yeah, and you know, the side effects he's talking about, those are, you know, the same side effects that you would experience when you start a keto diet, those keto flu side effects that could come with not having water and not having electrolytes during the fast. And you know, even if we were able to determine that, you know, this dry fasting produces X% benefit better than regular fasting, you know, the thing you have to question is whether or not it's something that you can actually do and something you can even stick to. You know, maybe a better practice would be incorporating a fasting practice that you can stick to more regularly, that is more sustainable and get long-term benefits from doing that, rather than trying to take this extreme measure that maybe you do once and you never touch it again.
Right, and so for me, 3-day fast, super, super easy if I'm having, especially if I'm having anything like a bone broth and electrolytes and water. 1 day dry fast crushed me, like I couldn't do anything. So I'd be able to, like I do a 3-day fast, you know, once a month, typically at least. I would not do a 1 day dry fast once a year if I had to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, the other thing is that your everyday life is going to struggle during this time. It's not really something that you could just incorporate during your week. You know, if you're trying to exercise, you're going to have hindered performance there. You're going to have a hard time at work. Your day-to-day is just not going to be great. So it just doesn't seem like a super practical method.
Right, and you know, if you're doing a regular type of fasting, I mean, a lot of the proposed benefits of strength training during fasting is that you tell your body, hey, you should keep under this lean mass and break down all the other garbage. But if you don't have any water or electrolytes coming in and you're trying to train, that is not a good idea. You should not do that. So we're not ever recommending that.
Yeah, agreed.
So if you guys have any questions about types of fasting, dry fasting in particular, again, we wouldn't recommend it. Have you? I don't know. Put your experiences below. If you have any questions about this stuff, hit me up on Instagram at dranthonygustin.
And I'm at the Ketologist.
And we'll see you guys later.